were made by radical black racists. Let's just say that. Okay? It's a group of these guys that don't want to hear Jamaican, don't want to hear Guyanese, they don't want to hear a black guy that ain't down with them.
Right.
Right? So their job is to criticize anybody who don't look like them or who ain't black American.
Who are these guys?
You want me to say their name? We're going to give them too much clout.
I mean...
The FBA, Foundational Black Authority, whoever the fuck these broke niggas is. I'm just keeping it a buck. And their shit is to attack everybody on Twitter. You see this nigga who run them? Like, your leader? Oh, man. You got to be fucking kidding me, man. And so they trying to change the narrative. They're not from New York.
Right.
So now Fat Joe. Fat Joe, they've been promoting Fat Joe as some hip-hop ambassador, and there's a reason why because he's a white Latino. Hip-hop was created by blacks and Puerto Ricans 50-50. And then he ran out the room. And everybody's like, what? Then he was doubling down. Yeah, I said it. I said what I said. It's 50-50. And everybody's like, why don't you explain it? What do you mean 50-50? What? Yeah. If y'all ain't from the Bronx, y'all just don't know. And then people from the Bronx started asking questions. Hey, what they talking about? What 50-50?
Reset TV, what's happening? It's gravitating away, and it's a beautiful Sunday my way. Hope it's the same y'all way. Hey, man. Oh, my God, man. It's a lot to touch on with this whole Fat Joe, FBA, Tariq Nasheed thing. Math Hoffa was going, dog. Niggas just be trying to look in the car and shit, bro. Like, anyways, this is what I got this. Ronnie! Yeah. Hey, I'm doing a video. I'm gonna check you out. Yeah, but look, Math Hoffa, let's get him out the way first. Math Hoffa, if you call it that, is a independent journalist, right? Because essentially, if you're reporting and you're interviewing people, one of the first rules is you have to be neutral. So Math Hoffa, for everybody saying he shouldn't even have allowed Fat Joe to say that, then that means y'all assuming that Math Hoffa knew what Fat Joe would say, which obviously isn't true. Like, come on. Y'all reaching for that one. All of a sudden, Math Hoffa is Caribbean now, right? This FBA group thing, right? And I'm not talking about actual foundational black Americans. I'm talking about the FBA group that Tariq Nasheed started. And y'all get so angry with facts, but Tariq Nasheed started FBA. He owns it. Has the title to it. He owns it, all right, y'all? Like, he's making money off of it. But Math Hoffa, I don't think did anything wrong because Fat Joe was addressing FBA group. And keep in mind, I don't agree with Fat Joe with the majority of things he said about hip-hop. That was bullshit. But if I'm to critically think, he was talking about specifically the group, not black Americans.
I don't have a problem with that HDA people. I think they're crazy, okay? And I think they're dangerous in the way they approach it. This is the lady and the lawyer. Mm-hmm. And I reached out to them years ago when I first heard about them. I reached out to them, I emailed, no one ever touched bases or tried to get back to me. And I wasn't being that critical. I was saying, let's talk.
I know some people just love being victims and love trying to play the race card. And when you ask them, what are you doing in your community to make actual change? They don't. They're on these YouTube streets trying to get y'all riled up with emotions. But let's go back to Fat Joe. Fat Joe mentioned the inception of hip hop being co-originated by Latinos. Man, my nigga Fat Joe, bro, please, bro, shut the fuck up with that, bro. Like, straight up, no chaser, shut the fuck up with that. Have Puerto Ricans and other Latinos and other, groups participated in hip hop? Of course. But when you're talking about something that is an exception, right? hip hop was frowned upon. Hip hop was viewed as, dare I say, nigga shit. More condescending terms were used, but it was something that was a dark cloud if, let's say, white families were a part of it. Latino white folks, i.e. Spanish people, were a part of it, and other groups as well. Even with certain black American homes, hip hop was viewed as something that parents did not want their children bringing into the home. Hip hop, and I say this respectfully to anybody else that want to disagree, hip hop was originated by black Americans here in the US. You know, did it have certain influences? Of course, like all music does. Like all music does, but hip hop in it of itself was originated by black Americans. The problem that I have with the Fat Joes of the world, I would co-sign you getting on a group that Tariq Nasheed started, FBA, not black Americans, the group FBA. I do have a lot of disagreements with how they go about things, but then again, I'm not moved by internet folks making a lot of hoopla, but ain't doing nothing in the streets out here. Can't show me no works, got no footprints in the community, but when they're on YouTube, they're all pro-black. Everything's blackity black. So I don't really got much to say about that, and I know people gonna eat me up in the comments, pause. But Fat Joe, somebody like him, who's quick to point out everything wrong with the group FBA, I would dare say everything wrong with the so-called Latin community. Really, I'm talking about white Hispanics, that I've been saying this for the longest, and this doesn't go against any of my Hispanic brothers and sisters that have no qualms with black folk, right? But I've been saying this since I've been a young dude, and I live here in South Florida. I know what the fuck I'm talking about, yo. Hispanics are one of the most racist people compared to any other groups against black folks. I promise you that. I fucking promise you that. I promise you this. So when I hear a Fat Joe saying certain things, it's like some of the messaging was okay, but definitely wrong messenger, bro. Everything you could say that you've gotten, right, and acclaimed throughout these American streets, you owe it to hip hop, i.e. black folks rocking with you. Once black Americans give the cosign when it comes to their culture and the roots, that being of hip hop, everybody else kind of accepts you, because Fat Joe, you was just a dude round the way up there in New York that was up to no good, like a lot of people were. And I'm not judging, I'm just saying you would have been a regular motherfucker, but hip hop gave you a name and a face out here. Let's keep it real. Most of your Hispanic brethren and sisters don't even rock with the music you create, bro. Now, I've seen you dipped and dabbed here in reggaeton, another genre stolen through actual reggae. I'm just saying, you have not created shit, my brother. I don't hate you. I'm not gonna be up in arms like a lot of these guys are on the internet, because we got a lot of work to do, and I can't get distracted much like a lot of these folks. And let's touch on Tariq real quick. I don't have no issues with Tariq Nasheed, yo. If you want to blindly follow his fragile stances, and I say fragile because a lot of you are new to Tariq Nasheed, but those of us that's been around his name about 20 years plus, even 15 years plus, we've known that he's had many hills to climb. Like, Tariq has promoted so many different positions he stood on, and it switches like night and day. So I'm not mad at him. I understand his grift, his hustle. There are those of you that are bitter about your own outcomes and the things that you see, so you need something to latch on to. I remember my rebel days when I was younger, right? I remember it, but then you start growing and you have more of an open mindset. You become less ignorant. You understand there's real work to do, so you're not so distracted like the many of you are. Fat Joe said this, Math Hoffa allowed this, and it's like you guys are upset about what? Once you click off of the internet, you go back into your reality, right? I.e. your hoods, your communities, and I again reiterate, what the hell are you doing out here? What real work are you putting out here other than going on YouTube? You let these YouTubians, these guys with channels, come on this thing that you call a platform and take your minds. It's crazy, bro. Like, none of you can be your own leaders. I'm at the stage, right, in my life where I'm a father of 6. I don't need a leader. I've been molding my mind. I've been conditioning myself to keep thinking for myself. So I don't get easily offended like many of you do, right? But I'm not mad at Tariq Nasheed. You got a lot of people that subscribe to his grift, and it is what it is. I think Tariq is one funny motherfucker, yo. He's funny as hell. Can be very zesty and moist at times, but Tariq is sharp. He's smart. He's very intelligent. And from what I've seen from the group FBA, not Black Americans, from the group FBA, they got more smoke for other black people than the so-called target audience that Tariq has been subscribing for years that is of white supremacy. The FBA group has more smoke for other blacks than the actual so-called system they're fighting. My problem always has been, where is the plan? Where is the blueprint to get reparations, right? For me personally, you can't be mad at no Black Americans that is fighting the American system for reparations, and you have no lineage that comes from chattel slavery here in America, but upset with Black Americans trying to get reparations. It's their right to. Like, if you're from Jamaica, you should be fighting the English government. If you're from Haiti, you should be fighting the French government. But you can't be mad at Black Americans trying to get reparations from the American government. My only thing, if I'm ever allowed to have any opinion, is pay attention to the so-called people leading that fight and start asking questions about the blueprint about how to get this. What is the political push? And understand, when you're trying to break through a certain barrier, you're gonna need allies. So when you push away allies that can be significant in your fight, you're doing yourself a disservice. There's nothing cute about it. You're out here looking worse than the so-called system you're trying to fight. So I don't agree with everything, Fat Joe said, because I have my own issues with that guy. I am biased towards him because I'm offended by the notion that he keeps pushing hip-hop was 50-50 originated through Hispanics. Like, I'm offended by that notion, especially when I know the inception of hip-hop was something frowned upon by many people that look like a Fat Joe. But moving on, I just think, let people be, right? If people want to claim FBA, I understand, right? Out here in the streets, the majority of Black Americans don't claim to that movement, that acronym, because they're doing real work. They don't got time to be a part of groups and organizations. They're really moving needles out here. They're really doing their best. And so-called people on the internet, like the so-called FBA group, they're not out here reaching a hand to help with the youths out here trying to save lives. They're just on internet making noise, because let me tell y'all, man, race hustling is a big thing, yo. Invoking emotions off of race is a money maker. It's a content creation maker. Like, it generates views, because you do got people bitter, not doing a damn thing out here, but stay complaining. But overall, my conclusion is Math Hoffa was just doing what he does, y'all. He's on YouTube interviewing. He doesn't know what somebody's gonna say. Give that motherfucker grace, yo. Like, fall back on the extra, let's cancel everything but the bullshit that goes on in our community. Let's cancel every goddamn thing but the people we co-sign and give respect to, who are the main problems in our community. Let's co-sign everything but the problems, the root issues of what goes on in our community. And as far as Fat Joe, man, he was dead wrong with what he said. But let people be, y'all. You won't be so up in arms. If you was actually doing real work out here, you won't be so offended by what goes on the internet, yo. If you agree or disagree with me, I don't mind the comments. I do not accept slander personally. So if you are going to ignore all the good gems that I was throwing out here, but you heard something you disagreed with and you're emotional, yes, I'm talking to the men. You're emotional like a female, I'm just going to hide you, bro. I don't got time to go back and forth with ignorance. We're really doing real work out here, yo. Real life work. And my job is to not cater to the bullshit. And I hope y'all feel the same way. I think I was somewhat balanced in my take. What say y'all in the comment section? And do you really care about what a Fat Joe got to say, or anybody else for that matter, when you know you're doing real work out here? Real work. Not YouTube content creation to invoke a racial divide. Like, when you know you're doing real work, are you troubled by what goes on the internet? Let me know in the comment section. This was Gravitating Away on Reset TV. I would like y'all subscriptions and your likes. Please, I humbly would like it. And if not, I just feel very, you know, appreciative that you even tapped in to hear what I had to say. I'ma holla at y'all.